So there's a saying in martial arts that goes, a black belt is just a white belt who didn't quit. And I love this saying, and I was reminded of it when I came across this statistic that just blew my mind. Okay, so get this. James Dyson, who obviously is the founder of Dyson Vacuum, one of the biggest entrepreneurial success stories in the States. When he was first building the early vacuum cleaner models, he went through, I'm going to read this out to you so I get it right, 5,127 iterations of their original model before it ever went to market. So that basically means that he failed at designing the right model over 5,000 times. 5,000 times. So can you imagine the persistence and the commitment to getting it right over years, right? Like, this isn't something that he could tinker away in his garage at for a weekend and get it right. No, this is a multi-year project with no payoff until he finally got it right after 5,000 failures. So the point I'm making here is that the people who are eventually successful in life, in basketball and in any field for that matter, are those who look at their journey in terms of years and decades, not those who look at their progress in terms of like, how well did I play today in this one game? How well did I play this week, this month, or even, frankly, this entire season, right? There's this old story from Kobe when he first came back from Italy and moved to Philadelphia. I think he was, I can't remember now, like maybe in 7th or 8th grade. When he first came home to Philadelphia from Italy, he played in the Sunny Hill Summer League, AAU. Didn't score a single point the entire summer. And the way he put it, he's like, I didn't score a cherry-picking layup, not a free throw, nothing. And he's playing against kids his own age, right? I'm remembering it now. He was 13. So he's playing against other 13-year-olds. Didn't score a single point. Kobe's reaction to that was not to quit or not to like get super down on himself and start like hanging his head. I'm sure he went through a little bit of that, but ultimately he said, okay, I'm not the best player here now. Not even close, actually. He's one of the worst players. How can I set up the conditions? What can I work on and learn from this experience so that 5 years from now, I'm killing all these guys? And that's exactly what he did. He's like, okay, well, first thing that needs working on is like my left and right hand layups. Okay, let me work on that. Next thing, I got to work on my jump shot. And he just layered on these skills year after year after year. And it was a very short period of time. Like when he went into high school, he was one of the highest, most highly touted prospects in high school basketball because he just worked that process. All right. So in other words, he was playing the long game. So was James Dyson, obviously, those 5,000 plus iterations. And the long game is one of my favorite talks that we've ever given here at Deep Game. And the basic premise is that the players who are successful do not focus on the momentary setback, what seems at the time anyway, like momentary setbacks or failures or bad games or challenges or anything that you're kind of mentally suffering from. They focus on what can I do to set up the conditions that will make it inevitable that I'm successful 10 years from now. Okay? 10 years from now. So if you were thinking like, all right, what would guarantee my success 10 years from now? If I just showed up every single game, whether it went well, whether it went not so well, and I just found something that I could learn from that game, no matter what the result was. 10 years from now, would I be a way better basketball player, way more experienced, and way more knowledgeable about the game? If every game I just learned something, that's the only thing that mattered to me. Of course, it would be inevitable. It would be unreasonable that you wouldn't be a far smarter and better basketball player over time. Frankly, after like a month of doing this, if every time you showed up at the court, rather than focusing on how well you played, you just found something that you could learn about the game that was new and implemented it, all right? If you, again, rather than focus on how well you played today, you focused on, okay, 5 times this week, I show up and I do my skill work. Twice this week, I show up and I play. Maybe that volume increases during the season, of course. 3 times per week, 4 times per week, whatever the case may be, I show up and I get a little bit stronger in the weight room. And you just do that year after year after year after year. Every time that you show up to play a game, you not focusing on the results, but focusing on, okay, let me just learn something here. would it be like even realistic that a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, you are not a way better basketball player? Of course not. It would be unreasonable that you wouldn't be successful with that approach. Okay, so remember the story of James Dyson, 5,000 iterations of that vacuum cleaner, each failure giving him feedback to make the product better, so that those failures inevitably, in the end, contributed to the wild success of the Dyson vacuum cleaner. Kobe went scoreless for an entire summer. A black belt is just a white belt who didn't quit. Don't focus on the momentary setbacks and challenges that feel so crushing in the moment. And I know that they do. After an entire summer of working so hard, to have a bad game is crushing. I went through that so many times. And yet, it is the players who don't focus on a single game, but they focus on years and even decades. Those are the players who succeed in the long run. And if all goes well, your basketball career is going to be a multi-decade project. So focus on the long game. All right. You may want to actually review that talk. Again, like I said, that's one of my favorites. The long game is up on YouTube and podcast. So check that out. Let us know if you need any support at all, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care. Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, the best thing to do right now while it's fresh in your mind is to head over to deepgame.com and join us in our free masterclass. Now, this is where you'll learn all 8 laws of the deep game and all of the fundamentals that you need to know about the part of basketball that's played with the mind. We've had players call this the best hour of basketball learning of their lives, and it's completely free right now. So head over to deepgame.com to join us, and I will see you there.